Good morning everyone, I am Chulini. Today Farha and I will present one of the subtopics in topic 11, which is Supergroup Excavata. The excavates are grouped together based on their cytoskeletons. Their cytoskeletons have a deep groove, which it looks like it was excavated. Besides, they have atypical or absent mitochondria and distinctive flagella. There are 4 members in this supergroup, which includes Eugenics, Parabasalis, Diplomonads, and Kinotopus. So the first one, Eugenics. Eugenics are small and single-celled. They are commonly found in fresh water, and it is very difficult to classify Eugenics because there are about 1,500 species with diverse modes of nutrition, such as mixotrophic, photoautotrophic, and heterotrophic. Some Eugenics have chloroplasts and some of them do not. For those Eugenics with chloroplasts, their chloroplasts will be surrounded by 3 membranes, and the carbohydrates are synthesized in pyrenoid. Pyrenoid is a region in their chloroplast, and pyrenoid will produce pyromyelin. Pyromyelin is an unusual type of carbohydrate produced by Eugenics. For the Eugenics which don't have chloroplasts, they ingest or absorb foods. And from this figure, you can see this is the pyromyelin body, and it stores the pyromyelin. So this figure is, and this is Euglena. Eugenics have 2 flagella. The longer flagellum is called tinsel flagellum because it has hairs on it. Then they have eye spot. So this is the eye spot, which has a photoreceptor to detect the light. Eugenics have contractile vacuole to expel the excess water. Next, Eugenics are bounded by a flexible pellicle made of protein. So from this figure, you can see that there is a pellicle surrounds the cell membrane of Eugenics. Okay, the Eugenics reproduce by asexual reproduction called longitudinal cell division. They are called longitudinal cell division because they divide on the longitude axis. From this figure, you can see that they divide on this axis. Okay, next member is Parabasalis. Parabasalis are single-celled and flagellated, which means they have many flagella, and they are able to survive in anaerobic environments or low oxygen environments. They lack of mitochondria, so they rely on fermentation for ATP production. They have a unique fibrous connection between Golgi apparatus and flagella. And then you can see from this figure, there is an undulating membrane on the Parabasalis. Parabasalis are endosymbionts of animals. For example, they are found in guts of termites and cockroaches. They help termites to digest cellulose in woody plants. So from this figure, you can see that there are wood particles in their body. And it means that the Parabasalis will digest the wood particles. The example for Parabasalis is Trichomonas vaginalis. Trichomonas vaginalis is a parasite that causes trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis is a sexually transmitted disease. This disease can be transferred when there is a sexual intercourse between male and female. This disease will cause a vaginitis in women. It also can infect male genital tract, but the male may have no symptoms. So this is the Trichomonas vaginalis, and this is the undulating membrane.
Next, we will continue on Diplomonads. A Diplomonad cell has 2 nuclei and 2 sets of flagella. As you can see in this figure, this is a set of flagella, and at the back, we can see another set of flagella. And in the cytoplasma, you can see that it has two nuclei. The diplomonad Giardia lamblia can form cysts. Cyst is an inactive form of Giardia. And cyst is a pocket of membranous tissue that contains fluid, air, or other substance. Giardia can adhere to any surface by means of sucking disc. This is the sucking disc around the nucleus. Characteristic marking can be seen after the disc detached. So in this figure, we can see the circular marking after the Giardia detached from the surface. Beavers are known to be reservoir for Giardia infection. Infection occurs by the injection of cysts in contaminated water, food, or by the fecal oral route. So in this figure is the example of fecal oral route. Fecal oral route is a route of transmission of a disease where pathogen in fecal particles pass from one person to the mouth of another person, and it is mainly caused by poor hygiene practice. As we know that beavers is the reservoir of Giardia, when the beavers defecate into the river, this boy is seen to drink the water from the river. So the water in the river is contaminated by the cyst. So the boy ingests the cyst of Giardia, and after 1 to 2 weeks, the symptoms will occur, including diarrhea, abdominal pain, and weight loss. Another one is when the boy defecates in open air, the soil and the water is known to be contaminated by the cyst. If the boy touched the soil or the water and did not wash his hand properly, it can also cause the infection of Giardia. Infection occurs by the ingestion of cysts in contaminated food or water, or by the fecal oral route. In the small intestine, exudation produces trophozoites. Trophozoites is the active form of Giardia, and each cyst will produce 2 trophozoites. So, the active trophozoites will attach to the epithelial cells in the small intestine and interfere with vitamin A absorption and fats. And it is responsible for the symptoms of giardiasis, such as diarrhea and abdominal pain. So when the patient defecates, both cysts and trophozoites can be found in the feces, but trophozoites can only be found in liquid stool. And only cysts can survive outside of the host, and they can survive several months in cold water. Next is kinetoplastic. Kinetoplastic is single-celled and flagellated protozoans. They gain their name Kinotoplastic because it has kinetoplast, a large mass of DNA found in their mitochondria. So in this figure, this is their mitochondria, the number 9. So in their mitochondria, we can find a kinetoplast. Here. And another example, this is their mitochondria, the long one. So in the mitochondria, we can find that it has kinetoplast, and in the kinetoplast, we can find a large mass of DNA, the dark region. So trypanosomes are parasitic kinetoplastic, and it is passed to human by insect bite. Trypanosomes cause neglected tropical disease and TB, such as African sleeping sickness and Chagas disease. So we will look on African sleeping sickness. African sleeping sickness is caused by Trypanosoma brucei and transmitted by TT fly in the genus of Glossina. The blood-sucking TT fly will transmit parasite into human bloodstream, and fatalities or permanent brain damage is common. Another symptoms of African sleeping sickness is fever, headache, extreme fatigue, swollen lymph nodes. The TT fly first become infected with the parasite when they bite either human or another mammal such as domestic cattle and pigs that carry Trypanosoma brucei. The titi fly will transmit the parasite into human bloodstream while feeding. Trypanosoma brucei will attack the brain and causing behavioral change and a shift in sleeping patterns. Titi fly can only be found in sub-Saharan Africa. Next is Chagas disease. Chagas disease is caused by Trypanosoma cruzi, transmitted by kissing bug. Trypanosoma cruzi can be found in the face of the bug. Differ from African sleeping sickness, Chagas disease is not transmitted by the bite directly. So, the bug defecate while we bite. The feces of the bug that contain the parasite will enter through the bite wound and enter the bloodstream, the human bloodstream. Trypanosoma brucei can cause rupture of the host cell. So, patient suffers from cardiac disorder and digestive, typically enlargement of esophagus or colon. And Chagas disease can lead to sudden death due to cardiac arrhythmias or progressive heart failure. And it is caused by the destruction of heart muscle and its nerve system. And the destruction is caused by the Trypanosoma brucei itself. So there are two phases of symptoms of Chagas disease. The first one is acute phase, and the second one is chronic phase that occurs 10 to 20 years later after the infection. So in the chronic phase, that causes irregular heartbeat, inflamed enlarged heart, congestive heart failure, and enlarged esophagus and colon. So kissing bug typically bites people on the face as they sleep. So the swollen part is where the kissing bug bite. So that is the end of the lesson. And if you want to test your understanding on this topic, please click on the link in the description box.